Okay, so I'm not really sure to make an intro for this video, so I'm just gonna kind of go into it and let you know what we're doing. You get yourself a sabneo V8, which looks something like this. I mean, it may be a little hard to tell. So we just come in here and, looks like that with a handle like that. You got your sabneo logo there. Obviously, mine's a little scratched up because I do manual weathering on all of my stuff whenever I buy it. I really hope I'm in focus there, so forgive me if I'm not. I really don't like autofocus. It never does. It never focuses on the right thing, I swear. It might just be this camera, but whatever. Not the point. Check my volume levels. Okay, I was stepped a little bit too far back, but that's fine. So, you want to replace the speaker, right? That's pretty fair, the speaker, and this is pretty mid. So we're going to be doing that, and we are going to be replacing it with a Smugglers Outpost Elite 2-watt 4-ohm 24mm speaker, because I do believe that's the right one. Text will probably pop up on screen if it's not. I really cannot tell if I'm in focus from here. I'm going to zoom in on the screen. Okay, I'm probably in focus. Okay, so not the point. We're replacing this, and so I'm about to, for you guys, it's about to cut to replacing it, but I'm about to run my sound checks, and what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to record every single sound, pretty much, the before, and then the after, and once I've actually replaced it, but y'all are just going to go straight to the replacing, and then the before and after. It's going to be a lot of editing. God, that's going to be exhausting, but, so, I'm going to be running it at full volume, things like that. I'll retell everything once we get to that point, Either way, so getting the hot glue off, I kind of took a tiny bit of the plastic that stabilizes the speaker off while doing that. So it's just doing a little bit less stable, but it still has sounded mostly the same, so we're going to go with it's the same enough. Definitely need a new speaker regardless of whether or not I wanted to, but it wasn't that much money. Link will be in the description for the speaker. On to the next part. So you're going to need quite a few things for this. First things first, the Allen key that came with your saber. If you don't have one, I'm sure you can find an Allen key somewhere. Screwdriver set, it's going to be a needle nose, not a needle nose. It's going to be a Phillips head. Any pointy one should do, but you got to be careful because the screws that we're going to be undoing will start to break apart. And maybe some needle nose, especially if this is your first time taking it apart. Oh, as well as dipping cup, hat, anything to hold screws. Something that's just going to hold them and they're not going to roll away on you. So, the last thing you're going to need is your saber. Most likely it's already fully assembled, so the first step is going to be undoing these, which really sucks because we all know we don't want to do that. We all know we just want to kind of leave it. But we'll undo this. And so we're going to take all these out. We're going to, if I can get it all out, we're going to put them all in our dipping cup. Straight up, like a dipping cup works great for this. I was just a bit lazy to go get one. So if you've got one nearby, I'd get it personally. But no, so there should be 4 of these if you put it in properly, but some people only use 2, and that's fine. I mean, I've got a lightsaber somewhere that only has 2 on one side, and it's kind of like up and down, like the actual buttons. And it works. My blades have almost never fallen out. The only times they've fallen out is when the screws get like any sort of loose, and that's just like anything. If your screws get loose, that's just gonna happen. So we got the last one. And now this blade, oh, beautiful blade, come right out. Clean that up while it's out, because it's a little gross in there. I like to duel. I don't duel very heavily with this, but And then we're just gonna go ahead and start, undoing things. Take it completely apart, which that looks sick. I don't know if the camera's catching that. I filed that to give it all that look. Like I used a bunch of files because I didn't care about the files, but and I got a lot of really cool weathering on it. But so we're gonna undo it, and it comes apart 4 sections, and it just unscrews just like a regular threading, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. The great part about this is there is no special electronical like, expertise needed. I don't believe. I may be special. Also, like, there's a lot of dirt up in there, so I may cut up some cloth and glue it to the inside of here, probably with some hot glue or something, to the inside of this pommel, because there's these holes, which are great for letting the sound out, but dirt gets all up in there. So I may do that in this video. So next things next, you have one very obvious screw, and you've probably gotten it out, and you're like, well, it won't come out. Why won't it come out? The buttons. And that's what you're going to want your, any sort of pliers will do, but the needle nose to me kind of work really good, and you'll just want to undo it. Mine have already been done before that, and they're not perfectly round anymore. All right, I'm going to get this out first. This does usually help to get this out first. So get the back screw out. Now, mind you, it's not going to kill you to... It is so loud, though. But yeah, no, you're not going to die of electric shock doing that. I mean, if there's something exposed, maybe. So I'm not an electrician. That's why I'm able to... That's why I'm even doing this video, is to be like, guys, you don't have to be an electrician. It's so easy. I'm going to go ahead and hold down to turn it all the way off, though, because this speaker's making a odd buzzing, and I don't know if that's like unshielded electrical components or like what, or like I think there might be interference going on. Similar things kind of happen like with a guitar, so I'm thinking it's not the speaker, it's got to be the way that the electricity's done. Yeah, I'm gonna take my needle nose now, and we're just gonna unscrew that slightly, and it's fine. If you want to be careful, you can, but to me, I don't care if I scratch it up because it's just natural weathering at that point. But it'll come out and it'll look just like that. You got a little hole in there. It'll look mostly like that, more round most likely, if you're not me. I don't know what that'll do to your warranty, so if you decide to copy me, do so at your own risk. And then that should come right off, and we can put that to the side, which we have our wonderful collection there. And now you've got yourself your core. From this stage, what you want to do is you want to get that battery out. You're going to mess with electricity? Take the battery out. Also, strange tip. This is a very strange tip. If you don't want to order batteries online, but you want more batteries for your saber, go to your closest vape shop. Listen, I don't vape, okay? I know people who do that. And it's the same battery. In fact, actually, this is stolen from one of my people who vape. Like, it's the same exact battery. So you could take your lightsaber in, because you're probably underage if you're buying lightsabers. I mean, I am. You could probably take your lightsaber in and be like, listen, I don't want a vape. I just want a battery. I want some spare ones in hand. And you can go in there and you can probably get the battery, not the vape. Don't buy vapes. Okay, I'm not telling you to go buy vapes. Okay. You can get yourself the battery and probably a bunch of the heat shrink wrap too. Pretty easy. And they might even have things for the heat shrink wrap. Like, you could probably get a lot of lightsaber stuff there. I'm not saying go buy vapes. I'm just saying take your lightsaber in if you wanted to have batteries in hand. You could order them online, but chances are it's cheaper to go into the shop. It may not be. I don't know. Take a look before you order online. That's what I'm saying. As long as your store allows people in. I'm going to check this message real quick. Okay. So, the next step is to not lose these. Especially that Allen key. Now you can... I will say though, you can probably... I got these at Harbor Freight. Don't kill me, okay? Some of y'all are like really big on the... Oh my god, that's why it's broke. Harbor Freight. But like, it was like $6 for 3 of these. I think. Maybe less. It probably was less. And I do believe this 332s is the right size. If my phone would stop going off, that'd be great. Dead silent all day. Okay, so let's find one of our screws. I do believe... No, wrong size then. Maybe it was the smallest. Maybe it is the 5/64ths. Yeah, that seems right. Okay, well, 5/64ths if you don't know where your Allen set is. Although it might have just been 2. I think it might just have been 2 in metric. Not in in metric. 5/64ths or 2 in metric. They're like the same thing. It's whatever. Probably not. I don't know. Do I care? Not entirely. No, I really don't entirely care. I realize I've been getting quieter and quieter. If my phone would stop going off. Okay. So, the next step is to get you a pointy Phillips head. I think this size should do. I don't really know how helpful that is to you, but if you have the same set, it's like dead center. We'll see. One of mine is upside down here. Oh, fix that. And there are 4 screws. If you're looking at the battery side, there are 4 screws right there, and you just gotta undo each of them. And I'm probably going to try to design a different chassis that can A, hold the 28 millimeter ultra bass speaker, because I think that would be a good spending of my money. If my phone would stop going off. Okay, I'm going in do not disturb. Don't even care at this point. So, because it's nothing important each time. So, take the screws out. Don't lose them. Straighten your dipping cup. And I'm just going to undo it. I probably should have done this in crosses now that I think about it. Because it's starting to come out here. But yeah, I want to design a chassis for this that will come off about right here. And instead of using screws, it'll use clips. Because my screws are pretty rounded out here. Because I pressed too hard, which is why I was trying to warn you, don't press too hard. Just get a screwdriver thing that fits, and you should be fine. Putting them back in is a little bit of a pain. But so, and do not skip steps here. If you've got your screws out, wait for a minute. Okay, yep, this one has been pressed too hard and needs special care to get out. You gotta be extra special careful. Okay, so you've got your screws out and you're going to take a look at your wiring and see what it looks like, because I kind of forgot to do that. Carefully, which my speaker. Okay, so my recording automatically stopped due to corporate tax evasion, but that's fine. I'll just put everything back where I found it. Not quite exactly, so I think I had it on this side. Yeah, so take your battery side, flip it down, and carefully lift up over. And I was saying, which my speaker's already starting to come out, which I'll definitely need to clean in there, which most likely your speaker is held in by hot glue. So in the list of things, I'll probably put that you're going to want a heat gun. And you're going to carefully, and slowly apply your heat gun. Or if you me and you don't care, you're going to take your screwdriver, put it over on the flathead side, and you're just going to run it along the edge there very carefully till you get it all out, which I'm going to go ahead and do to clean it. So I'll, get back to you when that's done. The other thing I want to design a new chassis for is I want to get rid of the utilization of hot glue. Because a lot of chassis are relying on hot glue, and I just want things to click into place. Like there's going to be a slot for this board that's going to be the exact right size rather than using hot glue. And the wires are going to have like slots for them to fit under, so that they're not like right now it's going to be a pain to put back in because the wires are going to be in the way. And if I ever make that chassis design, it's going to be open source. So I've got my thing a little bit cleaned up. We're going to grab this, which if you got yourself one of these, unfortunately, if you probably watched the Frugal Jedi's post on the V7 where he did soldering. Unfortunately, because it is the clip thing, I paid a bit more money so I wouldn't have to solder, but it also very kindly, them at Smugglers Outpost are amazing. I mean, I'm sorry, I love their customer service. Because I'd messaged them asking about, hey, is there any reason that the dark side isn't available in under 28? Because you couldn't fit a 28 in this chassis. And it was like, well, it's just not possible. It's got to be bigger for the sound to work right. And then they were even like, but we can try if you wanted. And I was like, no. You just said it's not possible. So don't worry about it, mate. And I went ahead and bought the Elite because it's fine. I'll make a chassis. Or if I ever make that chassis, guys, it will be open source. because I want this to be able to be worked on. I like the idea of working on them. Yeah, I bought a $130 lightsaber. Shouldn't expect too much workability, but I'm going to modify it. And actually, I'm really glad. But yeah, no, so it came with the extra bit, which is what goes right there on the board. So you can actually clip into it if the original speaker wasn't already clipped. So that's amazing. And it came with a bunch of stickers and stuff. And most people, like, and not a bunch of stickers, but, oh. You know, it came with a business card, it looks like. You know, a review, and please tag us, kind of get their name out, and a sticker, which will be going on the guitar case. Because anybody that knows me knows that I put stickers on my guitar case. Because where else would I put them? I'm sorry, nothing lasts as long as my guitar case will. I think I used to put some on my old PC, but I don't even have that thing anymore. So I'm like, oh, yeah, maybe I wouldn't. I used to have cool collectible Detective Pikachu ones that came with my Detective Pikachu that I need to fix because he's missing the handle. Yeah, I just need to find the handle again. Oh, it pops up randomly. I'm dropping shit. So you're at this stage. Sorry, I'm like way there. So you're just gonna very carefully. Careful, SpongeBob. Careful. It's not really like a clip, like a push clip. It's just gonna come out, I believe. I don't know, maybe mine wasn't in all the way. But like that, and now you've got yourself a micro speaker, which if you're like me and you use it outside a lot, is probably very dirty. But you got yourself a micro speaker that you can just literally use for anything you want. Like I could take this with this and make a nuisance if I wanted. But now we're going to open this thing back up. I'm the reason this is as tight as it is. I've opened it before, and it was not that hard to open. I mean, it was closed enough, obviously, but I have big hands that makes it very hard. There we go. Okay, that's the trick. Put it in your palm. Alright, and it's going to go in like that. 2 watt, 8 ohm. I think it said 2 watt. I think it's 4 to 8 ohm. If these specs are wrong, there will be a disclaimer at the start of the video. Oh, actually, that's really nice. That's actually, the wire is nice and thicker, but also it's shorter. Is that different? No, those look the same. But like the wire's also shorter, because part of the nuisance that I have here is that the wire just gets in the way. Which, first of all, test the fitting. Or see how well this fits. Is this this might be a bigger speaker. We'll just go ahead and put them up against each other. Oh, whoa. Whoa. Okay, I don't know how good it is for these things. But that is... Whoa. They've got, like, magnetic reactions towards each other. Or I guess away from each other. Okay, so, like, already looking at it, the Smugglers Outpost is thicker. I'm just gonna have to use my eyeballs. Because they don't like getting close to each other. It looks about the same height. I think this one's a 23. I did measure it with a caliper. I think this one's 23, but, like, you can't find 23 anywhere. Which is fine, because it was actually still a little small for its hole. But it should just fit in. I do believe. Trying to remember which way it fit in. Probably downwards. No, maybe upwards. If you haven't pulled yours out yet, like, keep an eye on... There we go. There it goes. So, we now have it plugged in. And now the next step is just to run the wiring, which, of course, I will play this audio sooner in the video. Take a look at your wiring and see what it looks like, because I kind of forgot to do that. So, like, my wiring is a little bit of a mess comparatively. So there's little sides there. Those are kind of markers. You'll see it in the other one too. You want to put those at the little gaps on the side. Thankfully, my wires on the other end have behaved so far. Oh no, that's perfect. That fits in there snug like a bug on a rug. So, if you have gotten to this point, which you want to look it down that hole too. I need some light there, so I'm going to hold this carefully. It's very difficult to hold it like this. So you look down that hole there, where you see that gold at. I know it's probably not in focus, and just make sure that that hole is lined up, or make sure there's no wires in the way, because that is a possibility. So the next step is to hold it strange and to do your X screws. Put your screws in an X fashion. So, oopsie daisies. Okay, I need to flip this back over. Make sure you have your Phillips head side. Oh god, my hands are shaky all of a sudden. You know, make sure you've eaten too. I mean, I ate like an hour and 50 minutes ago, but okay. And then I'm just going to very carefully, don't need to apply too much downward force. I think once I have it X'd in, I'm gonna start it just to make sure that the speaker works. Because the other thing is, like, it's really hard to test whether or not the speaker works. If it came in faulty, that would really suck, because I was away at a trip when it came in. I mean, I doubt it will. I've heard amazing things from Smugglers Outpost, so you're about to get a person. Okay, I don't know how long this has been stopped. I don't think it's been very long, but I crossed the screws. I do believe I showed that that was there. So I crossed the screws and I just put the battery in. So I'm gonna go ahead and so I put the battery in, and I'll demonstrate in a second. Already, there's a click there that you couldn't hear before. Ow. God, that's loud. Sabneo V8. So I'm going to pull this battery back out. Okay. What I was showing to you, which I believe you were able to see because, well, I could have sworn I looked up at the camera. Like I said, corporate tax evasion, we'll explain in, like, at the end of the video. So yeah, there's this part, which I can go ahead and focus this in. This way? Yeah, okay. So you can see it's like it's more round on this end. So this end here that's like smaller round is going to go on the top end, which I'm going to go ahead and refocus in. Sorry, I just don't do autofocus. I film more movies than anything else, so like that's kind of... So smaller round goes up at the top, and the big round goes in first, push down, and goes in there. Which I may, in a later video or just at a later point, replace one of these, because I also, from their store, which they were like, oh, you know, like, I was worried eBay would like send it, not eBay. Is it eBay? Not eBay. Etsy, that's the one. Smugglers Outpost on Etsy, that's the one. Etsy's like normally a sketchy site to me, and eBay's also the same, so that's where I was confused. But like, I also bought battery terminals for when I go to design that chassis, but I may just replace one of these because I like the spring terminals. Springs are better than this, but we're going to go ahead and get our last two screws in. Carefully, don't drop your screws. I'm on carpet too, so like that would really suck. If you're gonna do this, I'd recommend doing it hardwood. And maybe have a magnet on you. Okay, I gotta give this one some force because I need it to actually close. There we go. Okay. Because I want there to be not much gap. Otherwise, things are a little loose, and that's not good. So, getting our last screw in. And I guess I can talk to you guys a little bit about some of the stuff. Like, yeah, I'm going to design a chassis with my brother, and I may pay him to help me, but either way, it will get posted, and I will post a video that I posted that. But I'll do that on my TikTok, so find me in the description. I used to want to do YouTube, but that's not a thing I'm doing anymore because it's just, I have no interest anymore. So that's just kind of how that is. I mean, I had interest, and it helped me learn my video editing, but beyond that point, I didn't. Okay, make sure when you put your battery in, it makes the noise, because unfortunately, I don't think these terminals are great. Sometimes it doesn't want to. Okay, that's interesting. There it goes. This is why I prefer the spring ones, because these terminals are not great. So, because it's done this to me before. There it goes. Okay. Tried to put it in a little slower. And now we got our sleeve, and make sure you're facing the right way. See, logo is down here. I meant for it to be up. Make sure your logo is up. And people do complain about the ugliness, but you know what? I kind of forget the logo's there when I scratched it up real bad on purpose. I figured I'm making it weathered anyway, so I'm going to check the back though, and we're going to get our big screw. Yeah, there's a lot of upgrades I want to do to this thing. I want the chassis that can hold the 28, but see what I'm going to do with that chassis is not only am I going to make the wiring easier, but when it will be able to hold the 28, it will also be able to, it will have like down and down slots for each size, depending on how much you want to spend, because it might be cheaper, and like I said, in editing, I'll fact check myself, it might be cheaper to get smaller sizes. And you know, maybe you want that, maybe you don't, that's fine. That's why it's going to be able to be, which screw your buttons back on and make sure they're on good, because, well, that would really suck if they came undone on you. And make sure your buttons hit the right way, because if it's not quite in right, your buttons won't hit right. It's like sabneo things. I get a little bit of hate. The two saber brands I bought from, I get a little bit of hate online from. I've got some ultra sabers, which, admittedly, some of the worst end of the lightsaber lightsabers. However, they're pretty good for the film I want to work on. So, while I'm probably going to modify them to be more stable, and the fact that I have to modify them at all isn't obnoxious, they'll be fine. Which, by the way, great casing for your speaker if you want to hold on to yours. If you want to, you can trash it, you can hold on to it, you can do whatever you want with it. I'm going to hold on to it for some funds, but we're going to go ahead and put this, make sure that's on the right direction. Go ahead and put this thing fully back together. Which, I'm sorry, this is just kind of your PSA. If you weather your sabers, and I can, if you're not sure how, I can post a video on how I do it. I wish I had a fresh saber to do so. But like, because I've kind of developed a technique over time. Sandpaper and or files kind of is your best bet. But I buy them in all black, and then I weather them so I can get a truly unique look. And me personally, I love the weathered look. Like, you can buy weathered sabers, and they usually cost you a fucking fortune compared to just regular sabers, which, you know, clean up. Don't forget to start putting your stuff up. Don't need these two anymore. They can go back in my toolkit. Now, let's put the blade back in, and I'm going to attempt to line up the holes. Not the holes, but there's like little indents where I have got the, there's little indents where I've put the blade retention screws in before. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this down where I can get the thing in, and I'm going to put it in. Oopsie daisies. Okay. Set this down. Okay. Set this down. Okay, I'm going to do a very hard part, so I'm going to start and stop recording real quick. And that should help me with the audio-visual sync. I wish I had done that sooner. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to poke it in. I'm going to lay it sideways. Easy peasy every time. I say that despite struggling a second ago to even get it in, but it will just constantly fall off your crap if you don't do that. Which, before you screw it all the way in, ensure that your blade is in there and in there tight, because otherwise your lights may not work. I forgot to test my buttons.
I've been waiting for this. Ray Skywalker. Tell me. I've been waiting for this. Are you a Jedi?
Okay.
I am.
I didn't mean to like really test the sound yet. Alright, Rainbow Blade. But oh my god, that was worth the money. Like, I liked the speaker before, but that was just so clear. And I know I screwed up the speaker a little bit, which I can actually show you where I did that in a hot second. Hold on. Let me get some more screws in. Because I've got ADHD. Let me show you where I did that. So my speaker, the original. So you've got, and I'm going to focus in, rack the focus. Here we go. So you've got your little, where's the most focus? Here, you got your little gaps here, and there it is. It's missing right there, and you can gotta poke that in. But like the stability was kind of brought to it by the actual chassis for it. So it was fine. You know, it did fine. Which I do have, I'll put it in the description too, for those of you, if you actually want to make your own chassis. And I'd recommend redoing the measurements yourself to get a more accurate version. However, like, I did measure everything for when I go to build the new chassis. Kind of how everything is in terms of the original chassis, the boards on it, which I would redo the measurements with the boards off. I haven't undone that because I haven't really gotten around to doing that. But, which I'm going to hold up the saber so this doesn't fall off. So I've got all the sizes. So if you wanted to be lazy, you could rebuild the chassis with the sizes given. But if I were you, I would recommend, you know, if you're going to use it yourself, just making your own sizes, like measuring it yourself. Get yourself a caliper, little digital measurement thing.
Fire. Stable. Unstable. Pulse.
There we go. Set it back on where I want it. Wow, that is crisp. Okay. I think it's time for the audio checks on the other end. So it's going to cut to you, and you're just going to get the audio checks that I've already done. Which, okay, double check your hat or your cup, and make sure it's not got anything in it. We're going to clear off this area, put that back, put all this stuff back, put this in my toolkit. Don't lose that, guys, because I probably just lost it just now, but it's fine. I think I know where it's at. I think I see it. I threw it into my laptop bag, which is on top of my toolkit. Well, my toolkit's on my laptop bag, but I threw it on top of the toolkit, which is in the laptop bag. Okay, set this down. Oh, camera battery's starting to go low. That's fine. I've been charging one up this whole time. It'll be alright. Anyhow, I'll get back to you in a hot second. Okay, in this next section, I'm going to be testing out each sound. You'll kind of see that and see the old and the new going on. And then it's going to go to a section where it's going to play the sound. It's going to pause a second. It's going to play the new sound. It's going to pause another second, and then it's going to play each sound kind of back to back, and you can kind of hear for yourself. Now, mind you, unfortunately, there were some issues with the microphone, so everything's not quite perfect, and it doesn't sound as better as it does in real life. But like, I'll go deeper into that in the conclusion. Okay, so microphone will be about this distance, and I will try to limit movement, but some of the things that we have to test are movement. So we're just gonna. So this is going to be the Calcestis sound. Alright, is Calcestis?
waiting for this day for a long time.
Which you can kind of hear those switches. Okay, what I'm really hoping to see there...
I've been waiting for this day for a long time. Electric essence.
That one. Yeah, I think I can get a lot more bass out of that one.
Electric essence. General Kenobi. General Kenobi. Are you a Jedi? I am. I've been waiting for this day for a long time. I've been waiting for this day for a long time.
Really hoping to see there. Really hoping to see there.
Electric essence. Electric essence. Electric essence. Electric essence. General Kenobi! General Kenobi! General Kenobi! General Kenobi!
in conclusion, the speaker turned out great, in my opinion. Like I said before, it doesn't quite capture it over the microphone, but in my hand, it's just, the sound travels farther despite being around the same volume. It's clearer. There's a lot less crackle, which you can hear in some of the tests. But I mean, the big question is like, oh, should you replace your speaker if you bought the sabneo V8? How much do you care? That's the real question. Because, like, do you like the saber? Is it enjoyable? You don't have much money. You're just kind of like, maybe, do I spend the money? You're kind of on the fence about it. Maybe not. But if you have the money, and you really love, and you really want a saber just to really feel like you're holding a lightsaber. I know, I'm sorry for the camera. It's not a great aim. My arm is tired. I have been editing for hours. But, like, it's clearer, it's brighter, it's also darker. It's just got a better dynamic range. It feels more real in my hand, almost, you know? Like, the movement just feels better. Everything about it is just a million times better. I mean, the only reason not to do it is you don't feel like it and you don't have the money. I mean, those are the only two reasons not to do it. I spent like $20, and I think it was probably around 15. I spent like some extra money on the battery terminals. It wasn't a lot of money that I spent, and you can check out the site in the description and see which ones kind of work. And if you're not putting a sabneo in, just make sure you scout out whether or not you need the connector or whether or not you're going to need to solder and what size your speaker is. But, you know, if you're considering it and you have the money and you think, you know, I think a little upgrade couldn't hurt, go for it. It's easy. It's not that expensive. Pretty quick. I mean, I'm super happy with it. Them at Smugglers Outpost, like, just give them a lot of love there. God, my arm is killing me. Like, I have to hold my elbow like that. But yeah, I give Smugglers Outpost some love, because they have been super kind for, like, everything. Because, you know, I had to ask them a couple questions before I bought. They're really open to answering questions. They answer a really good pace, and they ship out really well. I mean, it got shipped within a week, which is pretty freaking fast for a non-Amazon seller, you know? So, I mean, they got it out of their warehouse in like a day or two, maybe even less. It was just the actual getting from Texas to here that did it. So, you know, if you're in the US, that too, because it is kind of, overseas will cost you a little bit, I'm sure, and some time. But I just, overall, 10 out of 10 upgrade. I'm not complaining. No complaints about it. It was easy to do. Yes, I took forever doing it. I like to ramble. But it was easy to do. It was quick. It's better. There's no downsides to it. Like, I cannot think of a single downside to it. I don't know. There's just no downsides. I guess that's the end of the video. I guess, you know, thanks for sticking around. Mind you, this channel is probably not going to be full of a bunch of, well, no, I think I'm going to put this on my film channel. So this channel will have a bunch of film updates and whatnot if I can ever get people to not be busy. Schedules overlap and it sucks. But, you know, like, I might post more lightsaber stuff on here. Otherwise, I post a decent chunk of lightsaber stuff on the TikTok, so you can go follow there. But yeah, go check out the description. It's just full of stuff. I need to make a list of things to put in the description while it's, like, exporting, I guess. But yeah, so thanks for watching. Enjoy your new lightsaber speaker if you used this video to kind of put it in. If not, consider buying it.